what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Alone Together Pittsburgh. Thank you for joining us. Hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hopefully you are doing okay through this Black Friday. Hopefully you didn't try to get crammed up against a door trying to get in and get a flat screen TV at Best Buy. But thank you for joining us. This is Alone Together Pittsburgh. I'm feeling kind of chill today for some reason. I guess the Thanksgiving thing happened. Maybe it's the tryptophan, but it's setting in. But thank you for joining us. We have been streaming at you live since the original shelter-in-place order came in back in March. I say the original shelter-in-place order because I wasn't sure, but I'm starting to think that we're trending towards that way. Since we saw you last on Wednesday, there have been over 1,600 new cases of COVID-19 in Allegheny County, 1,642 cases in the last 48 hours to be exact. So this obviously is shattering the previous records of the all-time highs. And Thanksgiving hadn't really happened yet when these numbers were reported. So really need everybody to lock it down now. It's starting to get scary again. And if they shut us down when we were doing 150 a day in March. I know we know more about COVID-19 right now, but right now it's kind of worrisome. But that aside, I stress and urge you to wear your masks. Keep social distancing. It's not over, okay? Hopefully you wore your masks and were socially distanced yesterday over the Thanksgiving holiday. Hopefully it was a Zoom Thanksgiving. I know a lot of people did not do that. They got creative in different ways. But I hope for the best that everybody kind of did the analysis of that. But about our show tonight, this ticking below the screen here, that is our Venmo. If you feel the need or feel the urge or have the desire, you can kick in a couple of bucks. It is at TogetherPGH. We try not to talk about that all the time during the show, but it'll be ticking along as we go. Anything you can give, $1, $3, $5, any amount would be great. All the proceeds that come in go directly to the artists involved on the show on any given night. So we would appreciate that. Outside of that, too, you can notice in the comments section is over there to your side there. We try to, if you have any questions for any of our guests as we're going on, shoot them out at us, and we will try to answer as many as we can as they come in, or just say hi and say what you were doing for Thanksgiving. There's something else that we do on the show every night, is a little thing called the Jagoff poll. Now, the reason we're not giving results of our overnight Jagoff poll, right? The Engine House 25 Winery sponsored Jagoff poll. The reason we're not doing that is because we gave like a bye week for the Jagoff poll because it is now time for the Final Four. Okay, so starting next week, we are going to be doing the Final Four. Okay, so we've gone through the bracket. It's come down to this. It is going to be Kurt Angle versus Michael Keaton, formerly Michael Douglas when he was living in Pittsburgh. And on the other side of the bracket, it will be The Cookie Table versus the film Striking Distance. So that's what's coming up in your future. So decide where you're going to vote and get ready to vote because that's going to be coming up for next week. But what we're doing now is we're doing an in-show poll that only you, the viewing audience, can vote on. So if you're listening to the podcast audio-only version of the show tomorrow, not going to be able to vote. People watching the show later at night, not going to vote. But we got one. It's kind of timely and appropriate. Dave Mansueto, tell him what the poll is.
This one's real cocktail of your favorite beverage mixed with 50 cc's of that tryptophan. This is all about Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving Redux. What are you gonna do? Pittsburgh, what are you gonna do? It's the day after. You're gonna have Thanksgiving Part 2? Is that what you're gonna do? You're gonna try to rekindle the excitement and the fury of the previous evening of wrestling with Dad over Zoom? Or are you gonna change it up? You're gonna do something special. You're gonna turn those mashed potatoes into a mashed potato meatball, make a meatball sandwich, put it on a biscuit with some ham, fix it up, do something crazy. Woo! I don't know. What's that got to do with Pittsburgh? This is America's meal, Thanksgiving, damn it. And we're gonna do it come hell or high water. Just hopefully you're doing it virtualized. Anyway, baby, don't worry about this Jagoff. It doesn't bite, because this one's got no teeth. This is your Jagoff Thanksgiving Redux versus new concoctions. Now, go back to sleep.
Okay. All right. So, okay, I tell you what, we didn't work that hard on this poll, but I think it'd be good for some conversation for you guys at home. Do you just reheat the Thanksgiving dinner the exact same way day 2 and just do it again, or do you make sandwiches? Do you make waffles? Do you come up with some other kind of creative way of doing something? Do you mix it? Do you boil down the turkey bones and you make soup? I don't know. What do you do? Let us know, or just get your vote in there right now. I'm 2B Jordan, apparently. So thank you for that. So we've got a great show lined up for you tonight. It is Friday, okay? So that means, we've got 5 minutes with Natalie Bencivenga coming up, and we have got talking local brews and booze with Dave Bracey himself. But before we do that, we're going to be bringing back Anna Baird from Hideaway to see how the season went and talk about a new special that's going to be coming up especially for Cyber Monday. So before we bring out our guests, Dave, Pete, is there anything to add here? Did you guys
Coming in, buddy.
What'd you say, Dave? Pete, you got anything? Okay, good. All right. So did you have a nice Thanksgiving, Pete?
It was chill. Yourself?
Good. It was good. There was a lot of food, and it was just the three of us. So it was kind of creative. There was lots of cooking, and then there was food, the food from other places, and it was a whole lot of food. I actually ate to the point where I got kind of sick for a minute. I felt really bad. It was very gluttonous.
Yeah. Did you take a nap?
I did not take a nap. I'm not. There's no napping for me. I can't nap.
No.
Time
See,
to
I'm
bring
going
back
to-
those Greek-style vomitoriums.
I did not throw
2020,
up.
baby.
Nothing was wasted. Today was way chill. Today, honestly, did a redux today. Just redid the Thanksgiving meal as is, stovetop up and some stuff in the microwave.
You didn't make like a weird quesadilla or something.
No, I didn't, but I would not be against that. How was
Did you get a pilgrim?
I said I did not get a pilgrim. I didn't make my own pilgrim. I'm not bad. The stuffing is enough bread, man. I can't add bread to the Thanksgiving. Dave, how was? I know you were brining your tofurkey.
Yeah, I pulled it out. By brining, I mean pulling it out of the freezer and defrosting it. But you know what? It was pretty good. You know what I mean? It was cutlet. So, cutlets. Like, think about the best cutlet you ever had. Never that good. It always tastes like fried cardboard, which would taste pretty good no matter what. You fry it right, boom. So it was turkey cutlet. Tastes like turkey fried. It was made out of who knows what, soy and something crazy.
And preservatives.
Yeah.
It's actually just called preservatives. That's cool.
No, it was good. Props to Gardein but they couldn't get that tofurkey. That's gold during these times for us aging hipsters.
I understand. Yeah, it was wild. I did. My mother made some pies and sent them over. Eileen made a bunch of stuff. We did the spatchcock turkey, man. I know you guys didn't do turkeys, right? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we did the turkey, and I sing the praises, and I've come to tell you, I've been to that mountaintop, and I've seen spatchcock, and it is the future.
I
all
didn't
over
know. I
Facebook
thought you were just
cookies.
saying another gross word that sounded like, like a Who's the Boss episode. And then today, that's all anyone was talking about is spatchcocking everything.
Yeah.
Eileen spatchcocked the turkey last year, and it was amazing, right? Half the time, super tender. You barely have to baste it or anything like that. And it was amazing. All it is they take the spine out, right? And we had a fresh turkey, never was frozen, spines taken out. Boom. I highly recommend it. I think everyone should try it. And I don't know which is less appealing, me calling it spatchcock, which I don't know where that name came from, or me talking about a spine removed. I don't know what makes you hungrier, but those are the two things that where it is. So I highly recommend it. I sing the praises of the spatchcock turkey. Yeah, a lot of people. I noticed it today. A lot of people.
All over Instagram.
I think a lot of people were trying it this year because they were doing their own smaller. They weren't doing like their giant family things, or like their mom wasn't cooking the turkey for them. It was everybody's first time just like doing a separate Thanksgiving.
Everyone's like, oh, this is great. This is better. This is fun. We're trying new stuff. It's fun. We're having fun. It's Thanksgiving. It's so much fun.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell. So
I
on that note,
I went to the East End Food Co-op, and I got a lot of my supplies there.
That's
I
a
got
good place.
this gluten-free stuffing. It was pretty fantastic. That was the highlight of my
You
No,
should
it was
have.
good. It was
You should have
good.
done a drive-by by my house and like blown the horn or something. You're a block away.
Yeah.
You don't like
I'm
gluten-free
glad
stuffing?
spatchcock's a good. No more talking about fried. People talk about fried turkey for the past 5
Deep
years.
fried turkeys,
Finally,
yeah.
we're sticking. Remember when we was just sitting chicken on a Budweiser can? Remember when that was the thing for about 2.5 years at the barbecue scene? Spatchcock has arrived. 2020.
It made it so much easier. I mean, and you know, the only difference is you're not going to get that Norman Rockwell picture. You know what I mean? The turkey's kind of off to the side. You know, it's kind of like
I want to see. It's dad, and he's got the head of the turkey, and then the spine is just—it's like a Mortal Kombat turkey, pulling it out. I remember good old dad used to rip the head off of the turkey and dangle his spine and wave it around. Say, "Come here, turkey!" And throw it
get over here. Truken. Anyway, that's cool, man. Well, I'm glad we covered this, and I think it's time to move on to our first guest. It's always good to hear what the guys did. Honestly, I have not talked to the boys since Wednesday's show. Today feels like Saturday for some reason to me. So I was surprised that we had a show to do tonight. But thank you for watching us. So I tell you what, without further ado, I want to bring out our first guest, Anna Baird from the Hideaway. Anna, you're muted.
That's so embarrassing.
It's okay. It's just like a Zoom call at work.
Do you know what? I just saw a mug that popped up in my feed that it says "You're muted" because I think that I was like, I need to get that for everyone in my office because I say that probably like 4 times a day.
We've been doing this for 8 months, 9 months. When did this start? March, right? So everything went online. Everyone's doing these Zoom calls. I'm still going on Zoom calls with the same people, and they're still muted. And they still get through like 5 things. And the worst is when somebody tells a joke and you see them laughing at their joke and everybody's just like,
it's a disaster.
And then
You're muted.
It's over.
We really quick. We had a big meeting. It was like everybody, because I have a job aside from Hideaway, and we're having this huge meeting, and it's all on Zoom. And someone was in the drive-through getting their lunch and did not mute themselves. It was the opposite. You should be on mute. We waited to hear what they ordered.
Well, that's good. And did you ask them about it? Were they embarrassed at least?
Completely.
I was on a Zoom call and someone forgot to turn their camera off and they were on a treadmill.
Come on.
And there was 20 people on it. It was the head of everyone that ran a theater in the tri-state were all on there. Anyone that had a facility. And then all of a sudden it was just like, you could just see them like literally doing this, like over here, water, like your camera's on. Like you can't see yourself in the camera. So anyways, like that was the one thing. And then you saw obviously what happened to what's his name, the journalist that ended up getting suspended.
I don't even get that. I just don't even I'm not turned on by a Zoom call. I don't understand.
Yeah.
The need for that.
We knew what we were talking about. I'm not here for it either. But moving on. So Hideaway, you guys finished your season.
Yes.
All right. How did it go?
It was awesome. I mean, it was just the foliage out there. You know, we were there the month of October. So when they mean peak foliage, they mean peak foliage. I mean, it's like you guys were talking about Norman Rockwell turkeys. That's a Norman Rockwell, pure American, like patchwork sky.
This is one of the best years for. In case you didn't know, Hideaway is like our answer to glamping here. So it is. It's a hideaway. You're in a tent, but it is glammed out. I think we have some pictures that are going to run as we go through this year. But yeah, just to keep you guys up to date on what it is. So you're not in a pop tent.
That is, as my dad said, if that was the tent he was offered when he was in the Army, he probably wouldn't have left. So that is amongst other things. But yeah, that's one of our tents with 2 twins. They come with either 2 twins or 1 king. But yeah, that's it. Super comfortable beds, not sleeping on the ground. I'm not a camper. Every time I go camping, I end up doing something stupid, like popping my tent over an underground hornet's nest, or putting it too close to a creek and it rains overnight. So, but
these sound like things that happened to you.
Yes, but I love the idea of being outside. I just was like, how can I do this to like my level And that's how we came up with Hideaway. But yeah, that's me. That's like as outdoorsy as I get right there. And it was just, we had great guests. We had big birthday celebrations. We had a proposal.
All right.
Yeah, she said yes, and it stuck. It wasn't
Thank
just
God.
for us. You know what I mean? Because I did follow up. I was like, you guys doing this? So yeah.
Roundly, it seems like it was successful. I mean, you guys took necessary precautions, plus the outside thing, plus you have world-class chefs. I mean, it's not just the great tents. There was a whole lot of things that you could do along with the.
We've got Brian Pekarsek, who's amazing. Headed up, of course, BRGR and Spoon. He's just so incredibly talented, and we had amazing, amazing food. And then we had a happy hour hayride with a to-go charcuterie box and cocktails, and then we had massage therapy, yoga, and then people could go off on their own and explore all the offerings of Laurel Highlands.
Amazing. But yeah, and we were talking about before, I'm sorry, I should have opened with that, but the foliage this year, it seemed like it was amazing and lasted longer because there was no like extreme weather to make the leaves fall.
Right. So that's the thing. So it happened pretty much on time in Somerset, but it lasted like an extra week that it shouldn't have. Do you know what I mean? So we had like 2 really beautiful weeks. And then here in the city, I was trying to tell people from out of town, I'm like, their leaves have never been still on the trees at Halloween. I can't remember that at all as a kid. So it was beautiful.
That's amazing. So now you've worked out a lot of kinks, right?
Oh yeah.
You had the maiden voyage.
Yeah.
So you're going to come back and do it again next season?
Yes. Yeah. We avoided the iceberg. Didn't quite hit it. Came close a couple times. We had great guests, great staff, and everyone had a wonderful experience. So we were like, yeah, let's do it again. We're doing a little bit bigger and better for 2021. We're open for 5 months instead of 1 month. So we open May 23rd, and we're open until October 8th. I should say October 11th is our last weekend. We've got a lot of stuff planned. We've got artists in residence, chef series, wine dinners. We're working with local outfitters to plan trips, to Ohio Pile, Laurel Hill State Park. So we've got a lot of really cool activities in the pipeline. My mom she said that Michael Goldberg, who does this all with me and I, were kind of recreating the Catskills. I was like, I wish,
Oh my God. Well,
yeah. And then I was like, I went,
one
Mom,
tent at a time.
Right. And then I was like, don't be crazy. And then I thought, I wonder who will be in our end of season show.
Well,
it writes itself.
We'll do the lift.
Right?
I'll
God bless that person. I won't be doing the lift.
All right,
I will not. Yeah.
That
person will die.
Anna in a corner.
Yeah. Well, that's a given.
All right. Got you. All right. So the food, I mean, just from the pictures there, everything looks amazing. So it's pampered. So you're coming back and you're going bigger and better. So this was like a pilot episode here for this, and then it's coming back. So we've got Cyber Monday coming up.
Yes.
Are you guys are going to do anything
special? Yeah, we are. I fell for it. I was like, we got to do something for Cyber Monday. Yep. So we're asking folks to sign up if they sign up on our mailing list. Not only in the future will you get the ins and outs of what's going on and updates on what we're doing at Hideaway, but you will get a discount off of your trip that you can either use for yourself or give as a present. There's no blackout dates. Any weekend that includes all the holiday weekends. There's 4 holiday weekends during the season. So our rates dropped, which I'm happy to say, because now we're open for 5 months as opposed to 3 months. So the starting price for a weekend is $1,500. That's for 2 people. That includes all your food and your accommodations. I'm really excited. So yeah, we're offering a special discount for Cyber Monday, but you got to sign up for the mailing list in order to find out what that special discount is. And then we'll have little surprises throughout the month of December.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay,
yeah.
Great. Well,
yeah.
I will be signing up.
You better.
I will. That's amazing. I'll be doing that right now. And the best way is just on the website there,
hideawayco.com. And I'd be remiss if you made me think of this just now. We also have family weekends. Families are welcome any weekend, but we have weekends that are specifically carved out for families that will have activities and a more family, some kid offerings on our menu.
That's awesome. All right, that's cool. I totally forgot to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. So I'll definitely be signing up looking for those.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be a nice thing. Although, yeah, well, my kid kind of sleeps now. She's not crying in the middle of the night, so it'd be good for the other people in the nearby tents.
So hey, it's just part of the ambiance. Don't worry.
It'll get droned in with the cicadas and the crickets.
Exactly. The romantic train whistle that goes
That's
by.
awesome.
You'll be fine.
So I know you've got to be someplace coming up here, so I don't want to keep you long.
Oh no, I was joking. I'm
okay.
I absolutely do not have to. I'm taking this very seriously. We don't have to be anywhere.
Right.
The only place I have to be is in front of the TV for the new Minions holiday special with my 8-year-old.
Minions holiday special.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's we haven't gotten into the Minions yet, but
they're really fun.
We're rolling through like the old school Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Frosty the Snowman stuff, the Peanuts stuff. We did the Charlie Brown Halloween, Thanksgiving, and now it'll be the Christmas coming up here.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, I totally got weepy the first time I watched the Christmas special with Charlotte. I was like, this is. I don't know what. I just got like really overwhelmed, like a big dum-dum. But it is.
Well, no, but you get caught up with what the holiday's supposed to be about. But then you got the history of it. Then it's you. Then you think about you. You think about your parents. Then you think about all this other stuff. Oh,
Totally.
there's the proposal.
There's the proposal. My buddy, there's the proposal. And then yeah. Oh, wait, Charlotte wanted to see the.
Hey, Charlotte, what's going on?
What's going on, Charlotte? She doesn't know.
That's all right. The Minions holiday show's coming. So
yeah, that's the proposal, and it was awesome. That night in the tent was great. We had a 50th birthday, a proposal, and then just a random birthday. But we had such a blast.
Circle of life.
It was amazing.
Well, amazing. Well, that's great. All right. So the best thing to do is catch on that and come back and see us. I mean, when we get closer to go time, or if you have any other promotions coming up or anything like that, please come back on and talk to us.
Totally. Patrick, maybe you can come to our end of season show, a la Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll be like the sister who does the hula song.
The hula.
That would be like you can waggle if you want to. Yeah, I can do. That's as close as I'll get to the Swayze thing. I can't do the lift, but
I'm so excited that I channeled a clip with the Infamous right there. That was amazing.
That's right. Well, hey, this is what happens when Dave Mansueto's on the switches, man. He doesn't miss a beat.
Oh my God. I don't even know what movie that was from, but that was amazing. My mom always.
That was from Kickboxer.
Yeah.
That was the movie.
My mom goes,
Kickboxer.
he's a dancer. I was like, great. Like, that was my mom's always like.
Everybody's a dancer. Jean-Claude Van Damme was a dancer. And
how many of you are there?
Oh, there's dozens. I'd rather not say exactly.
Men who haven't seen daylight in 3 months.
Police.
Why? But why that?
Well, why Batman?
Why the Batman? I don't know. They're just see, you give these guys a night off. They got that tryptophan. Well, they don't have any tryptophan. They have that soy running through their veins because they're both on the veg tip and they're just trying to party. That was Mr. T from DC Cab.
Oh my God.
Golly.
Oh my God. That's a treasure trove. Okay, well, we won't have that. I mean, we could have that. I don't know.
All right. So okay. So anyway, that's a question for later here.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on. The Hideaway is glamping to the next level.
Yes.
Everyone should check it out. And don't forget, sign up for the email list right now, and you can find out about the offers for your own discounts for next season with no blackout dates.
No blackout dates. So it's the gift, and think of it as the gift that keeps on giving. Maybe you give it as a present, and someone takes you along with them. So, boom.
I call that a twofer.
It's a win-win. So thank you.
Can't lose.
I really appreciate it. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too. Have
Weekend. I guess
have
it's
a great
over.
week. Have a great Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Have a great last 3 hours of Black Friday.
Yeah.
And then Cyber Monday's around the corner, and then it'll be like super, Wicked Tuesday, and
Yeah, right.
like wonderful
Wacky Wednesday.
Wacky Wednesday. Everybody's trying
Yeah.
to sell stuff right now.
Oh my
But
God.
anyway,
Yeah.
have a good one, Charlotte.
All right. So he said, have a good one, Charlotte. All right. Thank you. She appreciates it. Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you so much for coming on.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye. Thank you. All right, that was awesome. The damn Batman clip has come back again. Here's a question. Danielle, does anyone want to talk about Pete Spinda wearing a scarf and a leather jacket in that magazine shoot? Total George Michael vibes. Well, if you guys were wondering, we highly recommend you pick up the holiday issue of Table Magazine, and we would recommend you do that anyway. But if you happen to turn the couple of pages, you will see a feature spread featuring the Alone Together Pittsburgh team, a lot of which who are on the show tonight. So if you could, we have some pictures around here that Dave might be pulling them up periodically, but there is a photo of Pete Spinda wearing a fantastic, and I'm not saying that lightly, an amazing leather jacket and a scarf. Let's go full screen on that. Look, there it is. There's the team right there. There's the whole crew. We're sitting there. There's a little bit of a light glare on Kate, but look at that. Look at Pete. Look at Pete with a green scarf. That's a money shot right there. They saw Pete and they were like, we don't care what anything else looks like in this shot. This one's going in. Look at that. Look at it. He's looking through you. He's got that stare, that squint. The sun. It wasn't even a bright day, but he was squinting. It was look at that. You can almost hear the song "Faith" playing behind you. It's amazing.
He looks kind of like one of those old sailor, like when they carve those sailor guys out of wood at the beach when you're eating seafood. He looks like he was carved out of wood and painted with lead paint, and he's watching you eat your hush puppies.
Amazing. You saw it here, folks. Hush puppies. Well, I'll tell you what. This is just one photo. There's a plethora of other photos. You can have a picture of Kate Romaine riding bareback on a horse. You've got Natalie Bencivenga sitting there having a cocktail. Dave Bracey holding a guitar. Dave Mansueto squeezing an accordion. Me literally filling my face with Kate's pasta. It is a whole smorgasbord.
That was the best part of the day, was getting to eat all the food. I didn't know we were getting fed, and then all of a sudden it was like, you guys can eat this. I was like, wait, what?
Really? It was like
Made my day.
Like Dave, Pete, and I were just like, what? Oh my God, this is amazing. It was Kate Romaine's cooking, so you can see her food and Kate riding horseback. Pick up Table Magazine. There's the crew, and there's the aftermath. Look at that food right there. It's amazing, and a great
It's got
spread.
a nice spread in the actual magazine. There's a few great photos of it. So
yeah, and Laura Petrilla took those pictures, and she's amazing. So check out her stuff too if you can. So there it is, and there's Pepper. Pepper even got into the mix. So all right, so I think it's time to. Where do you get the magazine? I think it's on newsstands. I'm not sure, Nova, where you can get this thing. You can go to Table Magazine's website and I guess sign up for it and get it. Since the pandemic, I'm not going out. I used to see it everywhere for sale, and like people have already bought a stack and we're giving them out. Barbershops had it, lots of restaurants had it, but I don't really go out anymore.
I went to the East End
guy.
Co-op and I was looking for it. And I didn't see it out there, but then I got my membership to the East End Co-op and they gave me the magazine with my membership. And I was like, oh, great. I was looking for this anyway.
That's
So it's kind of
amazing.
a nice perk. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So we got one because we subscribe. So get on there. Thank you, Dave. Let's look at some other pictures there. And it's good stuff. So, so that's great. So anyway, moving along, with the show as things go. Before we do that, we should talk really quickly about Farm to Table Pittsburgh, a sponsor for tonight's show. If you go to farmtotablepa.com, you can find out lots of different ways of buying fresh, buying local. They've got harvest boxes right now. You can also find out where you can get a ton of stuff going into the holiday, not the holiday, just all the holiday seasons, but lots of different things from meats to veg, everything fresh, and it just tastes better. So get on that and keep it real. Also, I forgot to mention earlier in the night, let's check in on the poll. How's the voting poll going on the Little Jagoff, Dave? Because I forgot to mention, in addition to Farm to Table PA, the sponsor of the Little Jagoff poll is Engine House 25 Wineries. If you go to eh25.com, and you can see the selection of wines they have. You can tell them that you found out about them on Alone Together Pittsburgh. You get $5 off per bottle. Go to eh25.com.
Neck and neck right now.
So who's the? It's neck and neck. Okay, so everybody, it's turkey neck and neck. There's the EH25. So there's the website. Check them out. They've got a great selection of wines. Also, they've got cookie pairings if you can go from Lola's Eatery, which is also a part of their little campus there on 3339 Penn Avenue.
I need to get some bagels.
Get on it, man. You got to order them a day, like at least 24 hours in advance.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just like it's not like Brugger's over there. They got to make them from scratch. Same with those donuts. They make some killer donuts too. Zoe Reader's off the chart. So get on that. So that aside, I think it's time to move along here. One of everyone's favorite. Okay, it is neck and neck. 4753. Get out there. Do you like to remake your Thanksgiving dinner, or do you like to create a new concoction with it for day 2 and for leftovers? Get your vote on. We'll find out about it later. But right now, it's Friday. Everyone's favorite award-winning segment on our show. It is 5 Minutes with Natalie Bencivenga, and I can't wait to see who she came up with this week.
Hey everyone, I'm Natalie Bencivenga, host of 5 Minutes With. I'm so excited to share my guest with everyone this week, Saleem Ghubril. He is truly one of my favorite Pittsburghers, and he's also the executive director of the Pittsburgh Promise, as well as the vice chair of the board of the World Affairs Council of Pittsburgh, who I'm doing a little partnership with over the next week or so. You're going to see a few interviews with people associated with the council. Saleem, I'm so happy to have you here with me. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, are you kidding, Natalie? I am so thankful to be with you. I am fond of you and proud of your work, and just honored to be a small part of it today.
Well, I appreciate you so much and the work that you do. And for people that may not know, can you share a little bit about your journey and how you ended up with the Pittsburgh Promise?
Sure. Well, the reason my name is Saleem Ghubril is because I was born in Beirut, Lebanon. I'm an Arab. I'm an immigrant. My family fled to the United States when I was 16 years old. And through a series of events, I ended up in Pittsburgh to start a youth program. And, you know, between arriving in the US and landing in Pittsburgh, I got thrown out of one high school and got thrown out of one college for making a bunch of dumb choices. And caring adults took me under their wings and mentored me. And wonderful people, including the woman who became my wife, reshaped my journey. So when we came to Pittsburgh, we started a youth program working with kids in an urban neighborhood on the north side of the city. And when I was running that agency, which I did for 23 years, I was also part of the team that designed the Pittsburgh Promise, which is the baby of our former superintendent of Pittsburgh Public Schools, Mark Roosevelt. So the Promise is his baby, and then I am his nanny, because, you know, he gave birth to this thing and then skipped town. So I called him a deadbeat dad, and I sent him child support invoices on a regular basis, and he pays. So that's how kind of my journey led to where I am at the Pittsburgh Promise.
That's amazing. And I want to hear some of those stories when you were a rascal of a young person, but that's for another time.
Bad boy.
Over a cocktail once we're able to actually do that in person someday in the future. But until then, I want to hear now how you ended up sort of shifting gears and taking the great work that you do with the Pittsburgh Promise, and also finding time to be the vice chair of the board at the World Affairs Council of Pittsburgh. And if you could explain a little bit what that means.
So the Pittsburgh Promise exists to address inequities in public education. Mm-hmm. That is really at the heart of what we do. Mm-hmm. As an immigrant who kind of struggled a bit and was embraced by folks in this country and who took me under their wings and shaped my destiny, I'm also keenly aware of the fact that there are many, both immigrants and natives to this land, who don't have the same benefit and don't have the same privilege that I ended up having as a little Lebanese boy here in these United States. So I'm driven by a commitment to justice. My faith, which shapes my orientation, is the lenses through which I see the world, causes me to want to work for a city that is good and just. And for me, by definition, a city that is good and just is a city where the most vulnerable populations fare well and cease to be vulnerable. And to use biblical language, those are the widow, the orphan, and the alien. Like it seems like in biblical language, often God says, look out for the widow and for the orphan and for the alien. You know, those who don't have the support systems. The widows back in the day had nothing when their husbands left, and similarly orphans and similarly aliens. So the Pittsburgh Promise exists to address educational inequities and work for educational justice. And the way we do that is we try to use the little bit of leverage that we have to improve the quality of public education in the city, to raise the aspiration that kids have for themselves and for their futures, to raise the expectations that adults have of inner city kids in Pittsburgh, to remove the barriers in terms of pursuit of higher education, any form of post-secondary education, remove the barriers, the financial barriers in particular, by providing scholarships, and then to come back full circle and help our kids end up landing jobs in the growing economy of our Western Pennsylvania region. So we've raised about $220 some million, spent about $150 million on scholarships so far, sent 10,000 kids to college on a scholarship. More than half are Black and brown, more than 75% come from low-income families. So we exist to do these things. And for me, ultimately, beyond you get an education, you get a job, and you can provide for yourself, what I hope will also happen is the formation of a worldview that says, not only does Saleem's vision for the city is about ensuring that the widow, orphan, and alien fare well, but that all of us as a city, including our young people who are emerging leaders, make that commitment, that to be a city that is good and just is a city where the most vulnerable fare well. So Pittsburgh becomes the most livable city in America when Homewood is the most livable neighborhood in America, and when Duquesne is the most livable neighborhood in America, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that just gave me chills. I totally understand where you're at, and it makes complete sense to me that all of these forms of justice intersect, and that the work that you're doing with educational justice resonates so deeply in our communities, and it is so necessary for our communities to thrive. So when you started working with the World Affairs Council, bringing that perspective to them, how have your missions aligned?
They're like hand in glove. I don't want to overstate something or speak in hyperbole, but the mission of the World Affairs Council is critical because the World Affairs Council is working to widen the lens and kind of tear down the blinders that many of our kids and families and residents in the region have about themselves, about their neighbors, about people who are different than they, about different ethnicities, different nationalities, different races, different religions, different sexual orientations, different ages, different economics, different educational values. So the World Affairs Council is kind of slowly, lovingly, gracefully widening that worldview, that lens, and removing those blinders by providing accessible, affordable, relevant educational opportunities, forums, discussions, conversations around those topics. So for me, when I was asked to be on the board of the World Affairs Council, it was an easy yes. I'm pretty selective about which boards I sit on, not because some are beneath me, but because if it's not related to my life's call and my mission, I don't have time for it. And the World Affairs Council board is absolutely connected.
That makes total sense. And as we wrap up this 5 minutes with, although I always wish I have like 5 hours with you at a time, because I just love listening to you speak and the great things that you talk about and make me think about. I was just wondering, what do you think about as we move forward as this country, in this experience, in this moment? What are your hopes for those that are finding refuge here in Pittsburgh in the United States and those that have immigrated here? What are your hopes for them?
That they feel like they belong. It's one thing to have us. It's important to be friendly. Absolutely. It's important to extend welcome. Absolutely. It's critical that we provide the necessary safety nets and the services. Yes. But as long as it always feels like they are in somebody else's home, they are on somebody else's turf and land, then we've not really fully done our job. We have done our job when folks like us and folks not like us feel like they belong here just as much, and they have a right to claim and a turf to call home right here, right now.
Thank you so much, Saleem, for spending 5 minutes with me. You are truly so inspiring to me, and I look up to you in the great work that you do for our city, and I hope you'll come back and talk to me again soon.
That is never a chore. I look forward to that, Natalie. Take good care.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All right. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Another great one, Natalie. Saleem's fantastic. I mean, he's doing the work, and just him talking, it's coming from such the right place.
Oh yeah, he's just like the most genuine person, and I've had the honor of chatting with him and interviewing him over the years. But I've been wanting to have him for 5 minutes with for so long, and the executive director of the World Affairs Council of Pittsburgh, Betty Cruz, reached out to me recently and asked me to do a 5 minutes with series, and asked me if we would kick it off with Saleem. And I was like, of course we can kick it off with Saleem. I love him. So he's kicking this off. And then next Friday, I'll be closing the series out with Damon Young. So he'll be on for next Friday.
That's great. I'm looking forward to it. All right.
Yeah. And we got some in between too. I'm going to be talking to a young lady from Nepal during the week as well. And the great work that's being done with what they're doing internationally. And it's been really cool getting to learn more about the World Affairs Council in this process, and recognizing, like Saleem was saying, if we want to be a player on the global landscape, we really need to address the inequities in our communities and make all of our communities livable for all of the people that live here. So I thought it was a great message.
It was right on. We brought up Duquesne, Homewood. It makes, I mean, it's crystal clear.
Yeah. And I thought it was good timing too, because I think there's been a lot more, I don't know if you've noticed, Patrick, but I've noticed this year in particular, there's been a lot more conversations around the meaning behind Thanksgiving and recognizing the historical context around what Thanksgiving represents to a lot of different types of people. So I think talking about immigration and whose land this is and how we can honor this land, I think is really important. And what do we want to do here collectively as we move forward, you know?
Absolutely.
Who do we want to be? These are the big questions I like to answer in 5 minutes.
Well, you know what though? But the thing is, it just I mean, we're talking Thanksgiving, but it just trims all the fat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just have to get right in there. I mean, and you just got to cut through all the BS and the pleasantries and get right into it. And I mean, everybody's so attuned to short attention spans, so you got to get people quick. So I think that's it. And you're the right one to run that. Now, before we move on here, so when we talked last week, you were getting some holiday questions, stuff like that. Anything come across? Natalie, as we all know, is a nationally syndicated advice columnist, and I like to try to pick her brain to see if there was one that jumped out, or a lot of, if there was a pattern forming in the questions.
So what I've been getting lately, it just feels like I'm getting a lot of the same question being asked in just slightly different ways. So last week and the week before, it was more about how do you deal with family members that aren't obviously going about this holiday the way that you want to go about it. And now moving into this sort of winter season, there is just I'm getting a lot of anxiety questions, or especially being sent to my Instagram in particular. People are DMing me a lot about, I don't know how to deal with this anger, this stress, this fear, this, anxiety around, how am I going to pay my bills? I haven't been able to find a job. There's no, a lot of it around employment and housing, but also just the dynamics of dealing with people in their home or around them that aren't handling this well. And how do you de-stress? And I think this is going to become, I believe, one of the largest mental health crises that we've ever experienced. We're on the precipice of it because nobody's addressing all of this collective anxiety. And I was talking to someone recently about anger and how I think of anger as a mask. It's always, to me, masking a different emotion. What are you behind the anger? What are you angry about? Let's take that off. And a lot of times it's grief. And I think this country is experiencing collective grief that we're not addressing because our lives have changed. whether we want to admit it or not, like we're not living like we were a year ago. It's just, and I don't know when we'll be back, if ever, to that way. So instead of talking about it and addressing it nationally and doing something and being proactive, none of that's happening. So I think that grief is being ignored. And when you don't address grief, you become angry. And I think that's what we're seeing now.
And grief, and it's just like, different stages of everything.
yeah.
Denial is rampant right now.
Mhm.
I mean, the fact that
Yeah,
people are going
Florida.
through it, Florida, but I mean the Dakotas. But like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that are happening right now. That's that, but there's also a good portion of the population who are, your blue collar, get it done, you get hurt, walk it off kind of a thing. This isn't that kind of a thing.
No.
You know what I mean? And that's the one thing that I'm noticing from people who are willing to take ridiculous risks because they're not putting two and two together yet, and they don't understand the severity of the situation or of what everybody's actually going through and living with. Like, I've gone through, I mean, like everybody else has gone through all of these different phases of where they're at. Even like a day where you woke up and felt like everything was better. And like, oh, we're good, but it wasn't, right?
No.
So and I don't know if there's such thing as a national conversation that we can have right now about this.
No, because nobody's on the same page. I mean, when you have, leadership still denying that they've lost an election, they're in denial about that and compounding that with they're not even addressing the pandemic that we're in. How can you even expect there to be a national conversation when you have a congressman in Florida who was just elected, who just contracted COVID? How can you expect to have a conversation? So there needs to be a real, sort of reckoning here.
You've got state reps that were in our area that that were going out to bars that were supposed to be closed and drinking.
That's right.
And saying Happy Thanksgiving, Governor Wolf.
Yeah.
And not realizing that, you're not giving a middle finger to the governor for doing that.
Right.
You're giving the middle finger to every frontline worker and everyone who's contracted this thing and going through hell with this thing. But I mean, that's the division. I don't want to talk politics, but it's just, it's going to be hard to get over this thing.
Yeah. And I think once again, that's why I think it's important that we keep asking ourselves, who do we want to be? Because moving forward, we do have to decide that as a nation, politically and otherwise. Just who are we as a people? Is this who we want to present ourselves to the rest of the world? And that's why having these sort of global conversations is interesting too, because I sometimes think America, we're kind of like this big island, right? And we've kind of had it pretty good as a nation for a long time. And I don't think we've really paid much attention to the rest of the world, but the rest of the world is really paying attention to us right now. And I think we need to wake up and listen to what they're saying about us and how they're looking at us right now, because it's not good. But that doesn't mean we can't turn this around. We can.
I think we can. But
we can.
I mean,
we just have to want it.
We had a ton of problems last year. We had a ton of problems 4 years ago. We had a ton of problems 6 years ago. We had a ton of problems 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
So we got problems, right? Right now, we just have this just giant boulder that's on top of the problems.
Right.
So, at least we have a clear mission that we need to take care of this thing, and then we can move on to the rest. So
absolutely.
All right, we can play three-dimensional chess. It could happen.
It can.
Right?
It can always happen.
It doesn't all have to be checkers. But anyway, Natalie, thank you so much for another fantastic one. Cannot wait for next week. Everyone, look at this picture.
Who's that?
Did you see have you seen Table Magazine?
Yes, I just got I actually wrote the article for this piece, so it was pretty awesome.
Have you seen the layout? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got it in the mail Wednesday, and I have to post it on my Instagram because I was very excited about it. And I think the photos are beautiful. And honestly, it was such a fun day just to actually get to see people in person. I miss Pepper so much, so I'm glad I got to see her that day.
I'm glad you did too. She loves her Aunt Natalie. It was like a giant field trip. Like it couldn't have been cooler.
It was so much fun, and I'd never met Dave in person.
Dave Mansueto?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God!
That was my first time. It was very exciting.
Yeah, you thought he was,
and he looked so good in his fringe.
Oh well, Dave, he did a 24-hour hot yoga regimen just before that, and shaved. But yeah,
It really worked for him.
the man can work
And
fringe.
Pete was so tall in person, I'd forgotten.
Pete is a tall man.
I know. Everybody's so handsome. Look at you. You guys are so cute, all of you. Such a great group I got to be around all day.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you very much. And we'll be back with Natalie a week from now. But you can also hit up Natalie, ask Natalie at gmail.com, right?
Yes.
That's that right? Yeah,
Oh,
right.
Ask Natalie Advice.
Ask Natalie Advice
Yep.
at gmail.com.
Yep.
Sorry.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Natalie. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Yeah, the pictures in the photo shoot were kind of fun. All right. So anyway, without further ado, hey Pepper. Right. So without further ado, my daughter just came by and did that. I think it's time to parlay on to our other favorite Friday night segment, Local Brews, with the man himself, Dave Bracey. You saw him in that photo with Natalie previously. What's happening? Captain Mute.
What's good with y'all, man?
How are you, man? What's going on? What's new? What's exciting?
Not much, man. I was looking at. I got those. I saw the photos of the table. I got the mag in the mail the other day. And I think it might have been the last time I took a shower. Actually,
It looks like it.
It was wild. That was a that was a hell of a day. I learned how to play the letter G on that guitar, so that was dope. I'm one step closer to a Jimi Hendrix ballad. But yeah, that was a dope time. Shout out to the folks at Table for allowing us to utilize their space with the horse. That was That was borrowing a horse. That was
when the horse showed up. I was like, this shit just got real. Like, all right, this is happening.
There was all this fancy food out there, and like I wasn't sure if we were supposed to serve people. I was like, I didn't know we were working today. They were like, oh no, that's for you. I was like, oh, word.
That was pretty funny. I mean, I got other pictures I got to send them. I went through because we weren't allowed to let the cat out of the bag back when it happened about what was going on with the shoot and everything. But now I have to go back through my phone because there's a moment like when Kate got on the horse, there's like just 6 people holding cell phones out, taking video and pictures of her trying to see what was going to happen. Then when they were like, oh, you guys can eat that stuff, we're going to do a shoot. And I was like, we can eat this? And I was like, Dave, Pete, and I were just like at a loss. Like, it was a fun day. It was a fun day.
Yeah, I had to take pictures because I didn't think anybody was going to believe that shit. And I'm like, there's a horse here. Yeah, I don't. You can tell I'm not used to nice things, but I am used to some good beers here and there. So we got this nice little segue. We got this Jens Beto here.
The name's fantastic.
It sounds like some kind of Italian dish with fries on it. I would have to. I'm not sure what the name is from, but as you can see here, it has it's a sour. It has graham crackers, peach, blackberry, cinnamon. It's a pretty thick sour. I like it. It's out of Camp Hill, PA, Evergreen Brewing Company. I don't know what the ABV is on it, so it's a little dangerous. It tastes, I don't know, like a 6, but the way they be brewing these beers these days, this might be a 13.5, and they just hide it really well. So, I don't know, maybe look that up on Untapped if you see that around to make sure, you know what you're drinking. I'm in a pandemic, so, I stop drinking whenever I feel, it's time to do so. So shout out to Evergreen
You're in charge.
On this Jens Beto. I also picked up some of this Log Yard. Now, this Misery Whip is a double IPA, and it's a hazy IPA, and it comes in at 8.4%. And I got this for $11, like 11 and about $12 at the beer distributor, and it's a pretty solid IPA. It's a sleeper. I'm not sure how they make it so cheap. Because I've been to a few distributors, and it is always around 11 to 13 bucks for a 4-pack of pounders. And again, for the ABV and the actual like quality of it, and it's a local, it's out of Kane, PA. For them to be able to brew this type of a quality at that price is astounding. So I don't know how long it's going to remain at that price point, but if you see it out and about, I highly suggest picking that up. It's a nice cheap beer, but not a terrible quality. And what I like to do is cuvee. I pour beer in a beer, and my favorite cuvee is the hazy sour combination. The haze, the hops kind of take a little bit off the sour. The fruits take a little bit off of the bitterness of the hops and the haze, and you get this nice hoppy, fruity, sour mixture. So
yeah, is that a common thing, like or is that like the Day Bracey Arnold Palmer?
Folks are pouring. Folks are making like a black and tan, right? A black and tan is a cuvee. I mean, it's some folks have been doing it for a while, but I like to experiment with flavors. So I suggest folks do it. If you got a little bit of this, a little bit of that lying around, see what that tastes like. I like to Henny and a sour, phenomenal. A little shot of Henny, on a pounder of a sour, raise the ABV a little bit. It's kind of like a whiskey sour almost. You got a little bit of that, a little bit of grape, a little bit of that wood in there to add to that sour to cut that a bit. Phenomenal. So a little something that I do, and I suggest y'all do it. But that's my favorite is you got a hazy and you got a sour. Try them out together.
That's cool.
And lastly, I got here is this Moonlit Imperial Stout from New Trail. New Trail has been pumping out some really good beers lately. They're out of Williamsport, PA. I mean, like they kind of hit the ground running. I'm not sure how long they've been running as a brewery, but I know they've been around this way maybe a couple of years. And I had a few of the first, and I was like, oh, this isn't bad. But now, I mean, they're really consistently pumping out some home runs. And this is another one. It's 9.2. So, it's more of a, end of the night kind of a ordeal. Once you get through this, it's probably time to lay it down. But it's shout out to them for still making stouts in stout season, because I just feel like, so stout season for me is all year round. But there used to be a time where like stouts were, very heavily made in the, in the fall, winter times to get you through. And, I feel like sours and IPAs have just dominated the market. And I get it. You got your bottom line. You got to make what the people are buying. But it's sad when you don't have as much of a variety of a good stout on hand as you used to when you walk down, the aisles. So it's weird because there's so much more local selections, but the types of beers that are being made are getting a little bit, they're dwindling. So, lamenting on that, but shout out to New Trail for putting out not only a good stout, but a good imperial stout. And this doesn't have a whole lot of, adjuncts or anything crazy. It's just a nice, solid, stout with a little bit of hop to get you through. So cheers to that.
Well, thank you, Day. If you're just joining us for the first time, Day goes through and finds more local brews every week and talks to us about them. But Day, now that we've talked about these beers, how was your Thanksgiving?
Man, it was all right. It was low key.
Did you keep it tight, immediate family, or
there was 4 of us together. Just keeping the numbers low and not, we ended up. I stopped over at my mom's. We sat outside, out like in the street. And she's on the porch and we're on the sidewalk, kind of waving and doing the very distant conversation. But yeah, I mean, it's Thanksgiving, Indigenous Peoples Day, it's whatever it is, it's a time of reflection. And, it's really wild, like, to be in this pandemic and, day to day, you're just going through it and you're just trying to get to the next day. It feels like at times. And time, is just, it doesn't exist. But then something like, a Thanksgiving comes around and you start to sit back and reflect. And, that's when everything starts to like really, as you're looking at the people, and like, there's people who are, not only contracting this. I mean, I have, there's folks that are really dying out here. And it used to be, a couple of layers, of separation, but now it's like right at the doorstep. And, it's firsthand people that are not only dying, but they're getting sick or they've recovered and they're still experiencing symptoms, with the long COVID and whatnot. And I'm extremely appreciative of my health, and the health of those around me. But also, just, really looking at this, like, we're not through it. We're not, this is, everybody's like, oh, it's like everybody's kind of like, easing up, like we're at the end.
We're halfway at best.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you, but you don't, at the end is not when you ease up. I mean, you gotta go through all the way through to this. I mean, and, with the family.
Yeah.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
You just hit 5 nails directly on the head, man. Like, just talking about how you kind of lose track of time and then a holiday comes and it comes down like a ton of bricks that you realize that we've been at this for 8 months. You're time stamping it. And these total norms that we took for granted, like, come back around. You kind of like are numb to a point to that. And then people taking this thing lightly. I mean, I feel it. Like, I rarely go out. Like, if I'm going out, it's for a reason, and I'm back and forth, and I'm just looking out the car window and catching the vibe of what's going on. I could sense people that lowering their guard. Like, it's cool, we're through this. I know a guy who had this. He was just taking Gatorade and aspirin. He was fine in 3 days. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. But I know people that, it rocked them for 6 months. I know people that have died. You know what I mean? Like, all of these things, and they don't know what's happening. I know somebody who got through it quick and then got glaucoma, 45 years old. You know what I mean? Like we don't know what's happening with this, and everyone needs to keep it up. The fact that in Allegheny County, I know you're in Beaver County, but in Allegheny County, the numbers are so friggin' spiked, like over 850 a day the last 2 days, right? That people are still arguing about wearing a mask and coming up with different theories for it. Just something as simple as that. It's driving me crazy.
And and people are like, oh, well, it's like the flu and all these other things and that bad, and like, oh, the death rate isn't all that or whatever. First and foremost, death isn't the only thing that we're worried about when it comes to this disease. It's far more than just dying. Like, yeah, I mean, like, you can live through a car accident. Does that mean you want to get in one? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, like there's a lot of shit, could be, considered worse than death at times. I mean, like, and you fuck with your lungs. That's everything. You can't really do much if you can't breathe. Like, that's it. I mean, like, athletes or whatever, even watching TV gets a little tougher when you can't breathe right. You see what I'm saying? So, dying isn't the only thing that we got to worry about. And then, folks are like, oh, well, the rates versus the death rates and this, that, and the other. And it's like, they're running out of beds in these hospitals, man. Like, they're legit running out of beds. So, like, if you don't believe it's real, you gotta come up with a reason why we're running out of all these beds. And then 2, it's not just about like, oh, well, if I get sick, that's just me. No, that means that you're taking up a bed that, like, now if I actually say I do get into a car accident as a frontline worker, on my way to work, I might not, like, what's the care that I'm going to get because of the, everything else that's filled up. Like, people don't take into consideration the people that are dying that because of the overload that the hospital is having. It's not COVID related, but it is. Like, I mean, I wasn't able to get the care that I wanted or would have been able to get because they're overrun. The nurses are overrun. The hospital is overrun. Everything else is, so our regular afflictions are building up on us, and people are less likely to go to the hospital and let something linger because they're like, well, is it that bad? I'll just, it's a there's
people are
quite a
going
bit.
to work. People are going to work with symptoms, knowing they were in contact with someone. These things are just happening around. That there's just everyone. I don't know if it's possible to get everyone on the same page. And if we're waiting for the vaccines, it seems like the vaccines are coming. They'll probably get distributed by July. You know what I mean? Like the first needle in an arm to everybody. And then you got to take another shot a month later and go through that whole process again. So there's 3 vaccines out. 2 are in the 90s. One's at 70. It's just such a massive thing. Everyone thinks like, oh, there's a vaccine. It's going to come out tomorrow. We're waiting for that, that silver bullet, and it's not. I don't know. It's just that I would think that at this stage of the game, that instead of us dealing with the same shit that we've been talking about on this show and in life for 8 months, I would think that at this point, everyone might have kind of gotten on board with this together. Like the finish line is, science and listening to it. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
we don't have to, we can go all night on this, but
at the end of the day, I can't control everyone. I can only control myself.
Right.
And
Perfect.
we've lost a lot of things. We'll lose a lot more, but I was very thankful for what we do have. And that's, taking stock in what we have now is a lot. And wanting to preserve that moving forward is kind of, where we're at, where I'm at, going into the holiday season, going into the winter months. Like I said, we can lament about the past life that we had, and even then, man, like that, what was normal wasn't working for everybody. I mean, so, like we can lament about, the past. We can fear the future or whatever. We could take stock in what we have now, and work on preserving that, or, even helping that grow in some sense. So, again, I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it, man. People are by far, the best investment that you can make. So, look at the people around you and see how, be appreciative of them and see how, that you can do well by them. So Small Business Saturday is coming up. Some folks, some friends, some artists, some creatives, some entrepreneurs that are out there doing some things. You got a couple extra dollars lying around, and like for Blackout Friday, maybe throw them, maybe wrap that horse, to the checkout.
That's exactly right.
That is a great jacket right there.
Yeah, that's Eileen's. Small Business Saturday is happening tomorrow, right? It's today Friday. So you got Small Business Saturday happening, followed by Cyber Monday. I'm sure check your spam box on your email. I'm sure you're going to have 55 different local purveyors that are letting you know that they're selling stuff and having deals. So check that out and get on that. And you can look around, man. You can find different resources to find out where those things are and how you can support your local community. Because right now, if there was ever a time to support local anything, it is right now, because everybody at every level is hurting. So
yeah, look, use your social medias, right? You never know who is doing something. So like, throw a little post up and say, hey, anybody making anything cool? Because if you is, I might be buying. You see what I'm saying? And
right.
Not only will you might find something that's super dope that somebody's making that will actually enhance your life in some way, and keep the dollars within the community, but other people might see that post and go, I didn't know so-and-so. And in those comments, they keep, they be racking up. And in those comments, next thing you know, everybody's, jumping in there. And then you got a little mini marketplace going on in the comments. You see what I'm saying? So,
use social media for something other than nonsense. And you can use it for the forces of good. You don't have to write in Russian.
True.
Anyway, Dave, man, thank you so much. Pete, Dave, before we start wrapping up, you guys got anything else to add? Oh, you know what I was drinking tonight, man? Crazy, okay? Apple cider mezcal, and bitters. Right. So it was essentially like the watermelon cocktail, but without the watermelon. A festive kind of fall vibe because it was apple cider, locally purveyed from Sorgel's, and then with the tequila and a little splash of bitters, it was good. I was expecting it to be super sweet, and because it was mezcal, it cut the sweet out. So there you have it, a new version of the same exact drink, only swapping out. Go on. You froze.
You got me on that tequila, man. I was not the biggest fan. But after that watermelon, it's like, okay, maybe there's other lives out there I haven't lived yet. You know what I mean? So, I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to getting back down to PA libations, and grabbing another bottle of that Liberty, man.
I need to get there as well. All right, so here's how we're wrapping up. Unless Day wants to throw this off. Day, the day after Thanksgiving, do you make new concoctions with the leftovers, or do you just try to remake whatever you had the night before if there are leftovers?
It depends on the leftovers. You know what I mean? Like, this time around we made Cornish hens. So nice. And a little baby chickens. You know what I mean? So
yeah. You love the greens.
I'm just gonna heat that up. Oh yeah, the greens were fire. Yeah, no, they were spicy greens too. So now with that, I'm gonna be mixing new concoctions with that or whatever. But like with the chickens, I'm just gonna heat that up and just crush it. I mean, so it depends. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, the next day though, I'm more than likely the very next day I'm gonna be lazy. I'm gonna just heat that up in the oven.
Right, that's where I'm at. Okay, Pete, Dave. All right, so that'll do it. But that actually ties this up then. That'll take this to a 5-5 split. Pete, you're going to have to be the tiebreaker, or we bring out the commandant. What are you saying, Pete?
Bring out the commandant. He needs to make the decision. I voted on the
all right.
Facebook.
Commandant. Dave, tell me right now, where do you fall in this? Redux or new concoction?
Do you rebaste your tofurkey?
Do you rebrine the tofurkey?
I abstain.
All right, so this is like
just kidding. New concoction every time. Come on.
Okay, all right.
Gotta be.
Breaks the tie. All right. So there you have it, folks. That's all done. The Engine House 25 Little Jagoff poll is complete. Tune in next week for the real Jagoffs coming back. I'm not sure which one's going to be first: the cookie table versus striking distance, or Michael Keaton versus Kurt Angle. But that's what we've fallen down to here. So, Pete, Dave, unless you got anything to add, we could probably sign off and wish everybody a nice weekend, well earned, and hopefully everyone can chill and stay safe. Pete, you got anything to add? Good, Dave. Good, Day. Sounds good.
Fuck Donald Trump.
There we go.
We were just waiting for it. We had to get it in there. Thank you all very much. Thanks for watching Alone Together Pittsburgh. We are going to be back on Wednesday. We've got a great show lined up for you. It's going to be at 8 o'clock. Do not miss it. Don't forget, our Venmo is @TogetherPGH if you want to kick in a couple of bucks. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe. Don't forget to wear a mask. And if you did have any question about wearing a mask, Sally Wiggin, take us home.
When I walk out and there's someone without a mask and they come too close to me, I'm just racked with fear, and then I want to punch them in the face.
Get him, Sally.